That's what we see Jay-Z has done. That's what we see Puff has done. The music don't become how you pay the bills. It's a lot of pressure off of it. You got other things bringing in income, you can make music.
This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. Like what the fuck is going on? Who told you that song and did you know all along? And why did your bitch sell that painting 2 weeks after he was gone? I'm gonna tell you what it feels like. It feels a little fishy. Feels like something's going on ever since that John Legend song and college prediction of a Grammy. If you ask me, I can't stand him. Seems a little weird. Question number 1, why is there no blood? Question number 2, Sam left in the AM is true, but you're talking about the shits all up in the afternoon. Don't trip, we're gonna find out the truth soon. Who did what to who? Did they plan to eat the chili fries or was it just a surprise? Can you see the lies of witness in a cowboy's eyes? Are we gonna just sit here and forget? Are we gonna ride like Nip said? It's a little weird that the judge quit. Handing out immunities like candy makes me sick. I got a lot of unanswered questions like, why's the footage all grit and I can't see shit? Who the fuck is that white man in that white BMW? Probably was the FBI. Yeah, I noticed that white guy, and I noticed the car wasn't in the pictures when they showed them afterwards. They thought we would forget. They got that shit backwards. They weren't expecting me to drop this track and raise all these questions with my Mac words. I'm really mobbing through LA smoking backwoods. I've been doing this shit all my life. TMC, AMI. You might just see an empty parking lot when you ride by. Well, me, I see way more. I see an independently owned store. I see the community taking power back, whether you're white, Mexican, Asian, or black. As long as you're not blue. Good ones, there might be a few, but from my life experience, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not defending Eric, but what's the fucking delay? They requested a quick trial, it's been over 800 days. They try to distract us in so many clever, creative ways. Yeah, you got your Grammy, and now you're a billionaire. But what about the families that are still living there? Seems a little unfair, just a little something to compare. I never seen a fireman wearing a bulletproof vest. Yes, the shit to me seems a little suspect. The shit's a little weird. Crisis actors taking away our fathers, making our child some bastards, killing creative men and women for their masters. The waves that Nip wrote in, you didn't know when it began. A bunch of new chapters, you didn't think about what would happen after. We would put the pieces together on your transparent bullshit. I can see right through it, like the clear blue sky in the LA sunny weather, where the palm trees swing side to side and we ride together on a white horse or a double R hearse in a foreign car. Either way, you gotta be on guard because they're on tap for anyone who's brown or black with tats. Everybody sees it, but nobody wants to attack. It's sad if you ask, we all gotta blast back. We're in the game, but we can't touch the ball. Seems a little unfair if you ask me, that's all. So take your ignorant ass to YouTube and type in Tanique Reviews to get the real news. We're doing the shit for justice, not views. Sharing knowledge and coming together, that's the real tool. He tried to lead us to the lake, so don't sleep on the knowledge that he gave to me and you. He wanted us to learn from his mistakes, so with our new knowledge, good decisions we could make. And also one thing I wanted to say myself, they killed Dr. Sebi because he was teaching health. Assassins, they come in all shapes and sizes, big booties, hips and thighs. Oh, you're Diddy's girl, right? Oh yeah, John Legend, some things happen at your video shoot. I got a couple questions for you. All those strings you pulled, you still can't make a rap hit. You punk ass little bitch, you probably got a little dick. All the shit that you have to did. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face.
So, how's everybody doing? I'd like to start this podcast off by saying that everything you're going to hear is alleged and it's used for entertainment, spiritual, religious, and educational purposes. That's correct. It's used for educational purposes. I hope you guys are learning something from this. I'm opening myself out there. Maybe you think you're lonely, but you better be very, very careful who you allow in your atmosphere and who you attach yourself to. So this is part 3. Now, I'll try and keep it clean, but y'all got to know this is my personal life, so sometimes I get a little emotional about it. Part 3 of the woman that I married, who was already married and didn't tell me. This wicked woman you see right here, whose name is Yvette McTate. She likes to call herself Yvette. That's the French way to pronounce it, but it's Yvette McTate. And she's running around using my name, last name, House, Yvette House. The reason why she uses my last name is because if you run her first name, Yvette McTate, you'll see that she abused her child. And so jobs see that and won't hire her. So she quickly used my name. So she had a plan. She wanted somebody's name definitely so she could try and find work or whatever it may be, part-time work fancying herself as some kind of damn consultant, but in reality, she's just a diabolical demon, a devil, as we'll see today, right here now, in part 3. That's correct. One of the problems that this woman incurred in her first divorce, she just got divorced. Now, keep in mind, we got married June the 12th, 2023. She was already married, and she had been in, at that time, an 8-year divorce, which for most of it, I knew nothing about at all, period, whatsoever. But however, everything done in the dark shall come to the light. That is correct. Y'all remember that. Everything that's done in the dark, it shall come to the light. But one of the problems she had in her first divorce, which I'm going to be thrust right in the middle of that, once she goes and take the deed and title and put it in my name, she's going to bring me involved with that, is this fucking house. I told you I'm going to try and keep it clean. This house at 1106 Championship Drive, Elgin, Illinois, 60124. If you look at this house and you look at the green tag in front of it, I didn't put that there. It was put there by, I think, Zillow when they first bought it. When she bought this house, it was back in November of 2007 and moved in, I think, in January in 2008. It's, if you see the price tag, going for $628,000. When it came out, this raggedy ass house in Illinois, trust me, I'm from Illinois. If I would have knew her ass, I would have told her not to come to Illinois. Don't let the bricks and mortar fool you. This house was built horribly wrong, and it wasn't worth $99,000. I was born and raised in Illinois. Trust me, I've seen houses for $50,000 that look better than this and built better than this house was. But I guess for somebody who ain't never had anything, I guess this would be considered a come up. But you take in consideration 55 below zero and 35 below zero, you have to be mentally retarded to move here, as far as I'm concerned, with heat bills that skyrocket and upwards of $800 a month, maybe $9. And then in the state of Illinois, in the winter months, starting in October, they're allowed to double your bill. So if your bill comes in at $600, the gas company is allowed to charge you $12. Stupid, isn't it? But it's true. This house has been a thorn in her flesh. One of the reasons why it's a thorn in her flesh and his flesh is, now he worked at a company, P&G. We went over that. Y'all saw L'Oreal. He worked at P&G. So he was making about $150,000 a year. But nevertheless, he had the worst credit that a person could have, talking about our first husband, Charles. The worst credit in the low fives, if that, the very low fives. One of the things that her stepfather did was make sure that she kept good credit. But she was pregnant. Now, let me back up just a little bit before I get back to this house and get to something that she had that was truly hers. Now, with her making money at one time at TJX, we call it TJ Maxx, but TJX, she did actually own a house in Kennesaw, Georgia, and this is that house. This house was about $150,000. She got this house, and again, with her father and mother's help, father came inside and he did the inside. This is the inside, I think. I said, no, that's the end. This is the inside of the house that the father did. She was shocked when I was able to get these pictures. Father did the floors and stuff. So this is actually her home. Had a home and a decent job, and she was fooling around with this guy. He was with another woman. Her name was Natalie, and trying to take him away from his woman. She played this take a man away from his woman role for a long period of time. He was with Natalie, and then finally, he never even lived with her. When they got married in 2005, he was living in Texas. That's correct. He was living in Texas, but he came up to marry her in Georgia in 2005. I would later learn from him through his appellate court papers that the reason why he married her is he did not want her with his son. She was about 36 years of age, and accusing him of being pregnant, accusing him of that she was pregnant by him, and he did not want her with his child. And so, in his appellate court papers, he said that he was married to her, and she was, if she was pregnant by him, and that was his kid, he was definitely going to take it. He didn't want her around it, didn't want her with it, didn't think she was worthy enough to actually have it. And that's going to play out, as you guys know. She loses the child during the divorce. So even back then, and there were people who testified that he said that. But she had a home, couldn't sit her ass down and do it. And part of the reason why she couldn't is because these people were nothing but thieves. That's correct. She was stealing from TJX. And as you're going to see, she had probably $1.5 million worth of stolen stuff from TJX. And you guys saw the stuff that he was stealing from Procter and Gamble in the boxes in the previous video. And so both of these people were stealing. And not only were they stealing, they were actually selling the stuff on the street. He had dealers and she had dealers. I want you to understand, as much as she tried to make him a criminal, the paperwork and stuff is in. She was involved with everything that he was doing. And some of the stuff you're going to see is stuff that she was stealing from TJX. And then she abruptly, at 8 months pregnant, decided to leave, sell her house, put her house in another guy's name, who was a real estate person. And finally, he sold the crib for her while she catch up with him. She didn't catch up with him right away. He didn't have no money and stuff. So when she sold her house, she put a great portion of the money in her mother's bank account. As a U.S. attorney is going forth now for bankruptcy fraud, I'm wondering, have they actually investigated the mom, because she was putting money in her mom's bank account. I'm gonna tell you something else. I've never heard anybody put their mom down as bad as she put her mom down. And yet, in most of the crooked things that she was involved with, her mother was involved with it too. Unconsciously, maybe, consciously not. I don't think the mother really understood really what she was doing, but nevertheless, she would allow her to do shit like that. And it may come back to haunt her once an investigation is finished in the bankruptcy fraud. Because what they wanted to know immediately, as we talked about this, was how a pregnant woman, and she was pregnant when she came to Illinois, and she hadn't worked, hadn't had a job. How, and you guys ask yourself this question, could a pregnant woman who was having all kind of complications, the child was even born with the disease, some kind of skin disease, how could a pregnant woman with no job buy a $700,000 house with no job? Now, this is going to be interesting to you because I found out something that's absolutely incredible. What I found out is that this is not new, that white people have been doing this for a long period of time. Say, doing what? White people have been buying houses like this forever. The white people that her first husband, now I call him first husband now because they just got divorced August the 27th of this year, 2024, August the 27th of this year, 2024, while she's still married to me. You would think that she would be a bigamist, but okay, it's that gender bias because she's a woman. They're not looking at it. They're just now starting to look at it, but since we haven't got to that point, then I'm just going to wait before I actually they'll talk about it. That'll be in one of the later videos. So this is another picture of that house that she bought for $700,000 with no job. Now you may say, how is that possible? Well, remember I told you these people were stealing the stuff. I mean, big time. He had big time money, and that's one of the things she was hooked on. It was nothing for him to have money and for her to just spend, and never put in on anything. Now her excuse was he told her he wanted her to be a housewife. I can tell you this. I know that's a damn lie. I ain't even gotta ask him because there's nothing house or wife about this woman that even go together. This woman can cook. This woman can fucking clean. This woman can't even have sex appropriately. Don't even know what the hell she's doing. Literally, I can speak to that honestly. So there is nothing you would want. She couldn't raise a child. She was already accused of abusing the child. Trying to. She beat it with extension cords tied up in the ropes, and this is on record, on file. And was chasing around the house allegedly with knives. Her son, and he wanted away from her. The son asked the court to get away from her because he said, and this is also on record. You can look it up online. Look up Yvette McTate, her divorce to come up. And you can read this online why the appellate court took her son because she was abusing him. And he said in the appellate court, when he met with them people, that she was the worst thing, the most negative thing in his life. If she was removed out of his life would be good. And he's acted that way. And then she tried to make it look like it was alienation. But no, you listen to the boy, and after me knowing her the way she is, he was right. She's the most negative person I ever met in my life. I've never met a person in the whole of my life this fucking negative at all, period, whatsoever. So as they try and figure out, and I told you I had the meeting with the FBI, how she buys this house, a story starts to emerge. One of the stories that emerged was, even though she didn't have no money, no, she had decent credit. Credit-wise, she could qualify for this house. And this is where false documentation and stuff comes into play. Well, let me explain this further. This house was built by some builders out of Pennsylvania, which her first husband knew very well. He knew them very well when he lived in Pennsylvania. Now, here's what white people have been doing for years. White people have been doing this for years, and they taught it to them. And drug dealers do this as well too. And they have all of this money, all this cash, but they have no credit. But what they do is they go to new developments where they're developing new houses in your community. And they talk to the developer or the builder, the builder, the developer or the builder. That's who they talk to. So the developer or the builder will talk to them, and they'll talk to the developer and the builder. And here's what they want. They want the developer and the builder to act like they are a mortgage lender. And they can do that because developers and builders deal with a lot of money, but they're actually not mortgage lenders. So if you walk into a developer and you want a $700,000 house, and this developer is known for this, and you give them $100,000 cash, that developer will allow you to move in because those houses and stuff are the developers technically until they sell them or whatever it may be and they get filled up. That developer will take that $100,000 cash, set you a mortgage that you allegedly can pay for, and that developer is acting like a mortgage company, even though the developer isn't. And in this particular case, this raggedy ass house in Illinois, they were paying almost $4,000 a month for. You go 2 blocks away from this house, you'll be shot to death. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. This house wasn't worth a damn dime. All right. It's no different than Chicago. And one of the biggest gang wars and rivalries had in Illinois, directly behind his house. That was when the Mexican populace came into Elgin, Illinois, and they wanted to run black people out. That was the first time black gangs got exposed to AK-47s. And this was in the 80s. They literally ran black people out of Elgin to another town called Aurora. Really, and with a couple of black people in this area. It's mostly Hispanic. The Hispanic came in with guns, AK-47s. The brothers didn't have no AK-47s at that time. Chicago, it would eventually pick up with that in the late 90s and 2000s. But in the 80s, them Mexicans came up in here, them Latin Kings and the SAs that ran from California with warrants and came here and just shot this place up completely. And this is where this house is built at. And that's why they built this little development to try and make a fresh start and make it look like a better area, but it's not. And most of the people who live here are totally confined to their homes. And people here, when they want to rob you, they follow you. They'll follow you to the gas station and what have we, and they'll come back and jack you getting out the car in your garage. So when I tell you this house is not worth a dime, it's not worth a piece of shit. It's not worth your sanity at all, period. But because 600 and so it's almost $700,000 was uh, put on this home, it brings problems for her in divorce. Now he's smart. He wanted the house in her name. He didn't want it in his name because, according to her, allegedly, he's going to supply the fake documentation needed for her to get this house. So he supplied fake documentation, making it look like she made a $500,000 a year. I mean, trust me, they had a tax guy who actually did this paperwork and stuff of that nature. And that's how she was able to qualify for this house because she had fair credit. But the paperwork that was generated, the false W-2 forms, the fake check stubs, the fake tax returns, and the developer said, okay. In the process, they was so tired of living in a weekly hotel and had been there for a year or two. I don't know how long they been. Maybe 2 years in a weekly hotel, and she's in there with his mother and him. That they had to do something right away, and so they wanted to move in this house, causing this house not to even be built properly. Unfinished garage, unfinished basement, just a piece of shit. And he went and did all of that. How was he able to do that? She wrote a letter to the builder saying she was mental. No joke. She is mental. I know he said that bitch is mental. She wrote a letter to the builder saying she was mental, had some psychological issues, and she was giving him full authority to act on her behalf concerning the house. After she gave them that documentation, giving him exclusive rights to operate on her behalf, this fuck went and the builder charged them the full price for the house, but he wanted to move in so fast they left off half of the stuff that needed to be fixed. The garage wasn't finished; it was raggedy. The basement wasn't finished; it was raggedy. It was just absolutely incredible, and he did all of that. And even if you go towards the back of the house, you look up towards the windows. There's the house is very high. If you go to the back of the house drops, and the drop is about 30 feet. So they had patio doors that you open up in the back. You're supposed to walk out on the patio, but if you open those patio doors, your ass would fall 30 feet. And they got a small child in this house. And so he negotiated for them to just put shutters up so they could just move in. So shutters covered the back patio doors from the outside, dry rotted shutters that last I saw was swinging up against the damn house and hitting the house and trying to break the windows and break the patio doors. And the house was just without a whole lot of things, so they could just move in. So by January of 2008, they're in this damn house, and shit, no sooner than March or May, they're already behind in this house. That's correct. Already behind. They're in here in 2008 and have already fallen behind in paying rent. And these people got money. I mean, they really got money. They're stealing. They are making major moves in the street, but the money is going somewhere. Somewhere the money's going. Just to show you, look, this is stuff that he stole from P&G, like $1 million worth of batteries and stuff like that. Instead of the trucks going to CVS or to Walgreens or to Rite Aid, which is one of the some of the clients he had, they would send 18-wheel trucks to drop the stuff off at their house. Look at some of this, the basement, this fucking junkie. Whole basement of that house, this is what was down there, and a bunch of other things. And I told her when I came, I said, this shit needs to go. This shit really needs to be cleaned up. And I always fussed about cleaning. I mean, just unbelievable. Now, I don't know any ladies that see this. Y'all got to comment and say something. I'm going to show you just how nasty this woman was. This was shocking. And not only was that shit down there are like thousands of spiders down here for all the shit that's down there and mildew and shit. Thousands of spiders. Now, I'm going to show you that this is just this woman's personality to be nasty. Take a look at this. This is her washroom. That's right. This is the woman's washroom. I ain't never seen a lady, not my sister's mothers or anybody I ever dated, with a washroom so nasty, and it looked like this every fucking day, 365 days a year. It looked so bad, I had to take these pictures because I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was like shocked. I used a separate washroom, and I'm going to explain that why completely. I didn't want to do anything where she was, but take a look at the main washroom. This is where, if you're a normal couple, you want to shower together and do shit. This shit was nasty. In fact, I never even saw her mop it at all, period, whatsoever. Just shit piled up everywhere completely. Just take a look at this. Now, I don't know, ladies, you see me standing right there. I'm taking pictures going, what the fuck? That's my first time looking in the washroom. And I'm going, damn, I've never, ever seen a woman live like this. Never. I had to take pictures of it. I mean, I could not believe it. Nobody would believe me. So therefore, I took pictures of it. Look at her. Look at the woman's tub. What woman you know is in a tub like that? And why is the damn tub so black if you look at it? I mean, I just never saw this before in my life. This is the closets. The closet is just unbelievable filthy. Now, there's the washroom again, but this is the closets. There's shit, every shoes and shit piled high as hell. And some of these shoes look like they're 42 years old. I don't even get it. I'm trying to figure this shit out. I'm back in the washroom again because I'm shocked. Look at the closet. And this is not one closet. In the master bedroom, there was a total of 4 closets, technically 5, in a hidden room too, with shit all piled up in there like a panic room where you can go through one closet and come out in the washroom. Just unbelievably nasty. Look at this. Just nasty, man. It's just real. This stuff here, this is some of the stuff stole from TJX. This shit was size 2. She can get her fat ass in here. But they would take this stuff and sell it on consignment and shit like that at boutiques and stuff like that. They were making some serious money. She was just as crooked. It's just unbelievable junk. I never saw such junk. Look at it all on the floor. Just unbelievable junk everywhere you look. And the house y'all think so nice. Look at that. This is where I found all his clothes at. His clothes were in here, all neat and everything. This is going to come into play a later video, so remember that. And I told her, I'm looking on the floor. One day she decided to wash. And I was like shocked. I was like, damn, you can wash? Yeah, she's gonna wash. She's gonna wash my clothes and everything. So she washed the clothes and shit. All my shit's thrown on the couch and on the floor. And I having to go by the closet, open it up. All his shit is there. Keep in mind, he's been gone for 7 years at that time. 7 years he's been gone. His clothes are hanging there neat and ironed and everything. You got to remember this because this is going to come to play too in a later video. And I said, no, his shit got to go. His shit don't go. I'm not paying your fucking bills. I'm not paying no bills. His shit's hanging up neatly and shit like he ain't never left home. My shit all balled up on the floor and stuff. I'm like, this shit is crap. I didn't know it was there. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought it was all gone. I haven't looked in that. I'm like, you lying. I saw your ass look in that closet the other day. That's why I looked in it. I took pictures of the shit. This is another closet. That shit is not neat. The shit is piled up on the floor everywhere, but I'm taking pictures and taking as fast as I can. These are not the same closet. Look at that. Just nasty, man. Just plumb nasty. Yeah, all piled up high. All this shit belongs to TJX. And trust me, our TJX official actually, look at this shit, piled up from the floor, heading up into the air. Unbelievable. A TJX official actually contacted me. And like I say, part of the reason why she left Georgia is because allegedly her stealing from TJX. They were able to trace some of this shit back to the train that it actually came off of. That's right. TJX shipped their stuff by train, and they were able to trace some of this uh, by the train that was being stolen in Atlanta. And her brother was working for Marshalls, which is still a part of TJX. And I don't know what role he had to do with the shit, but she told me about it too, and stuff like that. But however, the TJX investigator talked to me just a few months ago. Hmm. A few months ago, and they got pictures and everything, and pictures of tags and stuff. Was able to look this shit up and see that this shit came from a certain train that was stolen, and they recognized that this stuff was definitely stolen. No question. I argued about cleaning up. I argued about cleaning up and cleaning up, and wouldn't do it for the world. It was like I was saying a cuss word because I was saying, you need to clean this place up. You need to clean this place up. I need it made. I said, you should have had it made before I met your ass. Oh, I gotta get it made. I'm not cleaning the place up. I said, it's obvious you're not cleaning it up. I clean it up uh, after some things are over with. I'm like, how? What parent? What friend? But a lot of people didn't know. And part of the reason why they didn't know is most of them didn't come around. They just listened to her ass by phone. And she spilled her whole life over the phone. And so nobody really knew. And then if somebody came, her idea of cleaning up was to take this shit and throw it in a room or in a closet that wasn't nobody gonna stay in. And she could actually get this shit up from downstairs throughout the house and throw this stuff in a closet, pile that junk up as high as she can, and make look like the house was clean and it wasn't clean, and then actually put that shit back out on the floor when people left after they flown in. I've seen her do it, and I couldn't believe it, but I saw it with my own eyes, and I'm steady asking her to clean up. I'm like, wow. I'm like, you shouldn't have even invited a nigga over here until you actually clean up some stuff. I mean, I never understand it. Why would you invite somebody over to your house and your house is not even clean and let them see this shit? But she did. And I'm glad that she did because I learned a whole lot once I started to investigate. And immediately, I didn't investigate and go around and start looking, but just some shit just started to bother me, period. And once it started to bother me, then I started to look around and see what the hell was actually going on. So this house has been one of the thorns in the flesh because listen to me, people, when you get married, women, men, if you're a woman and you're making more money than your husband, when you get divorced, unfortunately, your ass is going to owe him palimony. I don't care what he got. If his money was less than yours and you were making more money, your ass is going to owe your husband palimony. If it's a woman and your husband making more money than you, he's gonna owe you alimony. That's the way it goes. It goes that way. Also, if you're a woman, you get the child, you get alimony plus child support. And if you're a man, you get palimony plus child support if you get the child. But the key to the matter is you don't want to marry somebody who is not making the same amount of money that you're making because if you do that, you're making a serious mistake. And you see this in Hollywood all the time, but y'all don't pay attention to it. And you see a lot of Hollywood men like Tom Brady and a soccer player was smart. When Giselle divorced Tom Brady, she thought that she was going to get his money, but all Tom Brady's money came in his mother's name. So it was like Tom Brady's mother was playing for the New England Patriots, and Giselle wound up owing him money. And so did that soccer player's wife. She was going after his $300 million, but all that money was in his mother's name. The team paid his mother, so he didn't have any money, and so she now has to cough up her couple of $1 million she got to give him because he was playing soccer, one of the best soccer players in the world, but he wasn't making as much money as she did because all of his money went in his mother's name. So men are coming up with smart ways, and the truth of the matter is if you do, you should have your house and stuff in a trust, an irrevocable trust. Everything you care about should be an irrevocable trust. An irrevocable trust is not suable by the court. It doesn't have to present any information to the court. It's not divorceable assets because all your stuff is in a trust name. And at the end of the trust, whoever you want to leave your stuff to, that's who it goes to. So you want to leave your house to your children. That trust, the house technically belongs to the children. You can operate it, but it belongs to the children, and they get it when you die. And so, therefore, you can protect your things like that instead of using your mother and stuff like that. All you need is an irrevocable trust. You can call it Purple Trust and put your house in it, put your clothes in the name of Purple Trust, and none of your stuff is marital, divorceable asset. It is not marital asset. You can also do that with your pension and retirement and stuff like that. Put it in the name of your trust. So when you, if you get a divorce, your spouse is not entitled to it because it belongs to the trust. This is just information. Like I say, this stuff is used for educational purposes. You need to understand that. Now, this guy couldn't have been too bad because he had her on his retirement. And in the court records I just recently obtained, almost 2,000 pages of it, and plus doctor's notes and everything stating that she was mentally ill. I found out that she was actually stealing money from his trust. She was stealing $30,000, $80,000, $60,000 until the court stopped her from stealing money out of his trust while they were going into divorce. They stopped her from stealing out of his trust. In the process of stopping her from stealing out of his trust, then he had to start using his trust so he could pay for this divorce that she had. So he had to spend at least $1 million because they made him pay for his lawyers, and he had firms, and then her broke ass didn't have nothing, so they made him pay for her lawyers too. And where did all that money go? They still didn't pay no rent or anything. So let me just get to this particular part. So one of the problems she had in the divorce is immediately the court sees a $700,000 house in her name solely. So how do you walk around and tell the court your ass ain't got no money when you purchased a $700,000 house? So let me tell you how the house became partially legitimate. The builders, which I think is called Toll Builders, they got a pretty bad reputation around the country, acted as a mortgage company. And so when they got tired of these people and these people are falling behind in the mortgage, they created a profile to make it look like they were actually paying this mortgage on time, almost $4,000 a month. And they sold this mortgage to, I think, Round Point Mortgage Company. And Round Point had so much problem with their ass and falling behind. Round Point sold the mortgage to TBI, or it could have been sold to TBI then to Round Point. So they had two mortgage changes right away. And so from the time they move into this house until the time she finally got her ass out of there, when I got the fuck out of there, she moved out the next day. Trust me, you can see it here. She didn't stay in there then. You can see it right here. The house is empty. Police looking for her ass. She wasn't gonna stay there because there's so many people looking to harm her ass. She didn't feel safe, and I think she probably thinks she's safe now. But all I can tell you is what I've been telling y'all for the longest, from my belief and from what I believe. This is what I'm gonna tell y'all.
See, I loved you like a sister, but you died too quick, and that's why we called you bitch. I bet you.
See, I'm gonna tell you. Sometimes you fuck with the wrong people, you can die too quick. And one day I'm gonna probably come here and tell y'all she died too quick.
See, I loved you like a sister, but you died too quick, and that's why we called you bitch. I bet you.
So I'm sitting here and she's telling me, oh, the house is modification. I'm gonna save the house. So she did have a little job at that time, but abruptly they fired her ass. It took me a while to find out, but I spoke to officials at Big Light and I know why they fired her ass. I have great understanding on why they fired her. And so she couldn't pay for this house no more, the modification, which PNC was allowing her to do. One of the reasons why PNC let her modify it, PNC went back and investigated that she should have never been in this house. They went back and investigated that she didn't have no job. And they knew that they were screwed, and they had bought a very bad mortgage and she couldn't pay it. So they knew that her options were going to be to go to bankruptcy or what have we. So they let her modify it for a while until they figure out what to do. And the attorneys couldn't figure out anything to do. Now, to make you understand that, let me see if I can find it. My eyes playing tricks with me, but I'm going to try and find it for you because I was on speed dial with them. There you go. That's PNC. We were talking extensively. That's their number. And they explained everything to me, that they never had intentions to let her modify no damn mortgage at all, period, whatsoever. But they did not want to Um, they didn't want her to file bankruptcy and tie the house up any longer. So the house got tied up from 2008 to 2012, switching mortgages and stuff like that. And those mortgage people didn't want it. They found it was foul. 2017 houses. This house is like $150,000 behind. And then 2020, the house is almost $200,000 behind 2020. And then COVID kicked in. That's the only reason why she was in this house, COVID. Y'all remember COVID? They sanctioned the banks. They sanctioned landlords where landlords couldn't evict people. So she benefited from COVID. And she tried to get loans. Every one of them denied her. And I had to find out why. And I talked to somebody in Illinois. They denied her because, one, she lied. She tried to get a mortgage, tried to get financing to save the house, but they found it strange that she lied and said she wasn't married when she was married. And when she filled out the mortgage paper, she filled it out as like a single person. And so when they did their background investigation with that money they had, they found out that she was divorced and in divorce court. And so that's a bad sign. Why the hell would they give you financing to bring your mortgage up to date when you in divorce court and they don't know if they're gonna split the house down the middle? And come to find out, he was claiming marital asset. He knew he didn't. He know the house wasn't in his name, but he was with her in an 18-year-long relationship, so he was entitled to half of the house, and that's why they turned her down every single time under COVID. But they did fix it where, if she was making the money, she could pay a mortgage because there was nothing the bank can do. So I come along in 2022, and of course she's got this house, and this house is supposed to impress me. And I've been telling her even while we're talking, there ain't shit in Illinois that can impress me. I was raised in Illinois. Some of my family live not that far from you, and so there's nothing here to impress me. Maybe it impresses you, being from Smoky Mountains, the backwoods of Kingston, Tennessee, where ain't no damn houses that look like that. But I seen that shit all my life, so it didn't impress me at all. Period. Whatsoever. Had she been smart and listened to me from the beginning and came with me to where my house was paid for and everything, she would have been better off and could have recouped and revamped and got herself together. But no, she was determined to play this game with her first husband until she finally got caught. And she got caught, because she was good at keeping distance and stuff and keeping her shit separated. She has over 30 years of shit buried. And I tell you, social media ain't nothing for you to play with. That shit that was buried, it came to life. And when it came to life, it came to life big time. One of the things that came to life because she was so nasty inside of this damn house, everything was laying around. So at any given time you wanted to read something, all you gotta do is pick it up off the damn floor because there was like a million pieces of paper on the floor. So one of the things I found out very quickly that she never said, she never told me that she had herpes. There it is right there. You can clearly see it. No, never said a word, never said a mumbling word, which goes back to the pregnancy thing. She couldn't get pregnant because she had, if she wanted to, not only did she had tumors on her uterus, which we discovered through the fake pregnancy, she also had a sexually transmitted disease. She had full-blown herpes and a very bad case of it, period, which stopped our sex life completely. And thanks be to God, no, I do not have it at all whatsoever. And so she doesn't even know that I have this or I see this. This shit's just laying around under dressers, under the table, on the floor. That the Haneshi was just laying around. I'm picking it up, going, look at this shit. And again, my background's in nursing, so I'm going, holy cow. So how we find this out? Because we even went to the Bahamas. I didn't even touch this damn woman in the Bahamas. I was wondering what the hell was I even doing with such a person like this. We went to the Bahamas, but before we went to the Bahamas, we found out that her ex-lover was taking Big Tarvy. That's right, Big Tarvy. And me looking at Big Tarvy, now I got German Shepherd ears. What is Biktarvy, you may ask? Biktarvy is the medication that they use to cover the fact that you have HIV. That's correct, HIV. So one of the guys she was sleeping with, her ex-husband, allegedly was taking Biktarvy. So I'm thinking, if this motherfucker is taking Biktarvy, then this motherfucker has AIDS or he has HIV. And so at this point in time, I'm going to let her know that the shit's up. And I come to her. I said, look, your fucking ex is taking Biktarvy. And she's like, well, what's that? I'm like, you with a motherfucker and don't know what kind of medication and stuff he's taking? No, I don't. I said, that's bullshit. I said, this shit is used. So, like, if you're on a job and the job makes you take a physical and stuff like that, or you just don't want your girlfriend to go take, and see, y'all want you to understand this while y'all dating. You date motherfuckers who can go take an exam and they take Biktarvy, and Biktarvy will hide the fact that they have full-blown AIDS. You'll never know it. That's what it does. They ain't trying to cure AIDS. They're trying to hide it. So these people take this stuff and it hides the fact that they have full-blown AIDS or they have HIV. So I go, fuck all that. Then literally I said, fuck all that shit. You're going to take your black ass and you're going to definitely take a physical. And I said, if I got any motherfucking thing, it's going to be a problem. It is going to be a problem. No question about that. I didn't know. I didn't know. So now I'm in full investigation mode. I go back and trace her ass all the way back to Georgia and found the doctor that was seeing her ass in Georgia in 2004. All right. And I really went off on that damn lady. Fuck medical rights, whatever it may be, trust me, and did some shit. And the lady told me that even though she was seeing her in 2004, the lady said she could have had this in 1994. Unfortunately, herpes is one of those diseases you don't know when you got it or what have we. And with all the sex she was having with that guy, and she said he was gay, and I believe it, and he was sleeping around with different women. I forgot the other women that put up here, but they're gonna come play in another video. But what he didn't know was the amount of people that she was sleeping with. And she was just as bad as he was. They could have infected each other. Or as far as I'm concerned, she had this disease before he did, and she may have given it to him because that's how loose her ass was out in the streets doing that kind of stuff like that, sleeping with men raw. But nevertheless, this is one of the reasons why she could not have a child either, especially after having this shit for well over 20 years. It makes you sterile. Women, a lot of women can't get pregnant. And if they do, sometimes a kid come out with blindness and a host of other things and stuff like that. But my point is, she had this shit. And so therefore, a physical had to be done. No question. And trust me, I wasn't playing at this point in time. You don't play with my life. And so I already had this. Already knew she didn't know I had this already. She had it laying around on the floor. And if you look, you can see it as Valivacor and 500 milligrams, very strong dose of this shit. And she's got like 11 refills on here. That says you fucked up. Your shit's so fucked up, you need 11 refills. Let me tell you something. Doctors don't even really give you refills with herpes unless you have a breakout. There's no need. But if you're breaking out like you're an idiot, then you need lots of refills and just take this shit on a regular, hopefully that it won't come. If you do that, it's going to, your body's going to get used to it and it's not going to work. So you should only have to take this if you have a breakout, and you shouldn't be having breakouts. But nevertheless, 11 refills. And I'm going like, look at this bitch. This bitch is lying. And see, I wonder why I'm so hard. I had to learn a lesson too. I had to learn a lesson to obey God. But nevertheless, we go and get a physical. And we're not getting a physical for herpes. We're getting a physical for the Biktarvy because I'm thinking this motherfucker had AIDS or whatever it may be. And that's when he left her. He started taking this shit at the same time he was leaving her. And I even found the pharmacy that he was getting it at. He was getting it from a mom and pop pharmacy. So she would know. So he wouldn't go to Walgreens. There are a couple of prescriptions that they got. And he would get prescriptions and give her ass medication because her dumb ass didn't have insurance, but he kept insurance on himself. And she don't even understand that medicine is given by weight and stuff like that. You should never take nobody's medicine. If you are, stop, because that you don't weigh the same thing that person weighs. So if you take their medication, you're running into some dangerous situations. Just because they got high blood pressure and you got high blood pressure, that is no reason for you to take their medication. Because if they're 50 pounds overweight, you're taking 50 pounds too much. If they're 50 pounds lighter, you're taking 50 pounds too light, and you could die or be in serious trouble. That's why you need to take your own medication. So he would get his herpes medication and give her some, but she couldn't take her ass to the doctor and get her ass done. So I was like, no, you got to get your ass tested. And I'm saying for real, if I get anything, it's gonna be hell on high water. And so we go get tested and stuff like that. Of course, I don't come up with anything. I get tested about 3 or 4 times to make sure, and extensive blood work. I don't come up with anything. But when she got tested, she come out, I don't have HIV or AIDS, but I do got herpes. I said, well, oh, you do got herpes. Yeah, I do got herpes. Well, I already knew that because I had this. That's why I wasn't touching the damn woman. And I'm going like, this is just fucking incredible. I never saw anything like this. While she has this shit now, part of the reason one of the main reasons we broke up is because she's still having affairs with other men, spreading this shit around through Illinois, meeting these motherfuckers online, not on dating sites now, on job sites. On these job sites you go to, and these coaches teach you about, what to say and how to fill out your application. She's reading these people's emails, writing their emails down, and then 2 weeks later, emailing them like, man, I heard you were on this job site with me. And I was like, our stories are the same and all of this shit. She's been doing this shit for over 20 years. Now, this is going to come into play when we start talking about SHRM, that convention I always tell y'all guys about Sherry Shepherd and shit like that. It's going to come to play then. She's talking about, because this is one of the largest conventions in the world, but it's no different than Diddy. It's one of the biggest horror conventions in the world, where people in key positions fly around the country and sleep with other people and pass shit around just like this. Herpes, AIDS, homosexuality. That's what I learned while I was down there. And it's no different than the music industry. Depending on how low you're willing to go, depends on what kind of job you get. So they don't really give you jobs and shit. They just have concession stands giving away pins and buttons and shit from companies. They have 1 or 2 famous people come, which is going to be her undoing her fucking demise. And that's supposed to excite people. Again, it had Sherry Shepherd's fat ass there. What was she doing? Sherry Shepherd was there telling people the way she became famous was she was rubbing Ellen DeGeneres' ass. Yes, she became the #1 person to visit Ellen DeGeneres' show, because every time she came on, her fat ass would dance with Ellen and rub her booty. So she's telling these people in HR that that's how you get down. If you want to get a job here, that's how you get down. You can be doing, and if you think about these companies are going broke because of sexual harassment. That's why they're doing away with HR, because it's so nasty and so fucking freaky. These presidents can't really understand what's going on, but everybody has a sexual harassment suit. Sexual harassment has surpassed racial discrimination. Some girl wants to sleep with another girl. Some girl wants to sleep with a guy. Some guy wants to sleep with a girl. Guy, girl. And these people are paying hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, not understanding what the fuck is going on. I know, because I've been going around speaking for several companies. I spoke to 3 companies, and they paid me a high price to share the information that I'm sharing with you. And I learned this down here. So you don't want to miss this. And this is some shit that she attended. And in attending this, we found out who her black ass was sleeping with. And they sent me pictures and everything to prove what was going on. What actually happened was some other people got a hold of this and showed me, this is her black ass here. They had pictures and everything of it. I blurred it out because of, what's going on. This is her black ass here. And then when this guy was even finished with her, he was gay too, and he had a wife, and sent her ass out the damn room. She couldn't even clean up. She had to go downstairs to a public washroom at the Hyatt Regency in McCormick Place and wash her ass and change her wig And there was somebody in there who recorded that. I mean, no kidding. Her every step from doing that shit, I don't know if it was secret or what, but it was all recorded. Even going into the washroom to wash her nasty ass and to change her wig so she can try and come back and not smell or whatever it may be. There was somebody who recorded that. So when I initially told her, I said, you know what? I think you need to be concerned, about who would go through this trouble of recording you, getting your group pictures and shit, with you acting like you're single and a whore, and they got pictures of your fingers with your wedding ring not on there at all, period. And they got pictures with you walking the hall, going into the washroom. They got pictures of you in the washroom, taking off your ugly ass wig. And I'm telling you, look, I didn't know this woman was bald headed. I'm telling you, I didn't have no idea. And if you look and blow this up, you can see there's something fucking wrong with her head. And that's why she always kept some kind of hat or some kind of wig on her head. So she continually wears these damn wigs, which I think does more damage to her head than anything else in the whole world. And they come all the way down her scalp. If you look at you can see it. That's not baby hair. I don't know what the fuck that is. It's just black. And again, I'm not putting anybody down. I didn't know it. I mean, when I first saw it, and don't y'all be laughing. Y'all laugh, y'all going to hell. I had to use the washroom. And I said, look, I got to use the washroom. And if I don't get in the washroom, I'm going to just take a piss on this carpet. She said, well, come in here. I'm just taking a shower. So I go in there and shit. I take a piss and I look up. I'm thinking like, this is a fucking dude, and I pull up at the shower door, like, what the fuck? And she's like, oh, it's just me. I'm like, it's just, what the fuck has happened to your head? And then she points over to that nasty ass washroom and says that, her wig is over there. I'm like, God damn, I didn't know that was a wig. I had no idea. Damn. And I'm like, I'm tripping. Look, I was tripping so much that I actually slid down the stairs and hurt my ankle. So I'm trying to figure out what the fuck was that I just seen. And would go in there and shave off all of her eyebrows and would shave that shit, the black part of her hair off. All that shit be bald. And I'm wondering what the fuck is going on. But later on, that's going to come into play too when we start talking about the witchcraft that she was involved with, because some of that was occultic activity. And look, you can look at these candles and shit. All these candles, people's names are on there. You'd be surprised. And she wished evil on that they die and a host of other things, wicked shit. She worshiped. Well, she practiced witchcraft, but I ain't got time to go into all of that right now. You won't hear this, but she practiced this form of witchcraft, hoodoo and voodoo. She practiced hoodoo, and hoodoo is a form of witchcraft I learned when I went to school for demonology. I learned about it, but I hate to say it, but it's true. It wasn't as exciting to me at that time as voodoo was. The correct enunciation would be hoodoon and voodoo. That's what it would be. Hoodoon and voodoo. All right. The two different forms. And hoodoon actually is a more powerful form. And that's exactly what was being worked on me and why I could not function or think the way I needed to think to try and get myself out of this. That's a whole nother story, but we're going to actually cover it. In this house plays a great part. People who practice hoodoo, they tend to work with the ground. Definitely. There are geniuses who are working with the ground. You see me out there taking a picture of myself. I'm doing that for a reason. And the reason is she's looking out the window at every fucking thing I do because she doesn't actually want me outside. And the reason why she doesn't want me outside is because the neighbors they know what's going on. What she don't know, I've already talked to the neighbors. I already found out that she was already still seeing her ex the whole time. She told me he was gone, but she didn't tell me he didn't move but 5 minutes away. And he had been coming over there, but I got to tell you all about that too. But yeah, he had been coming. That's why his clothes were still there. He had been coming over there. She had been going out to meet him, never concerned about her damn son and where he was, but going out to meet him and going down the street to date another neighbor as well too. And the neighbors had already told me and just blew my mind with the shit that they told me about her wicked ass and just unbelievable. But back to hoodoo and voodoo. Hoodoo and voodoo voodoo particularly, are people who plant things in the yard. They just don't worship inside the house, all right? That's not what they do. But they surround the house with stuff. They actually fortify their house with wickedness. In the yard, they have hearts buried, opossums. They have all kind of shit buried in the yard to mess up people when the people come to the house. I remember she told me a story about a mother one time, and I'm getting ready to let you guys go at this point in time. We're going to tune in for part 4. And don't forget to support the channel so the shit can keep coming to you guys. That a mother came to the house, and the mother walked in the house and got up the next day and got the hell out of the house because there was a bad spirit in the house. The mother left. And on the way home, the mother got on the wrong way of the highway, and a truck hit their ass and almost killed the mother and killed the father because she didn't want to be in this house. And that's the kind of atmosphere or spirit that was in this house. But she could function normal. But if you stayed in this house any length of time, you couldn't function normal. But one of the things I was saying about the picture, let me get to the picture again if I can find it, is that I was outside and I was standing outside, and just so happened I looked down. And when I looked down, I saw a big ass hole in the ground. And I know what I saw inside the ground. I was like, oh shit. So she has this shit buried in the ground. And wanted me to think she was going out there picking up bushes and shit out there. I'm going, holy shit. So I'm looking straight ahead, and I can feel her presence looking out at the window at me because she's worried about whether or not I'm going to talk to a neighbor. That neighbor is going to see me, which I already knew about that shit as well, too. And I took a picture of myself, and I walked back to the house and stood at the garage door and tried to smoke a cigar going, damn, this bitch is practicing hoodoo in this house. And not only there, I would walk around the house, just a whole bunch of fucking hornets, bees, everything. But I could see various places where she had dug in the ground and had put magical spells in the ground. Now, I'll just say this part about hoodoo. People who use hoodoo use various types of dirt. Bank dirt, cemetery dirt, your home dirt. It's important that they get dirt in order for their magic to work. Why is that? Why do they want bank dirt? I mean, dirt from an actual bank. They'll go to the bank and dig up the dirt. Why? Because they want to lock up your finances. Some of you that are listening to me right now are financially cursed because somebody's working hoodoo on you and your money ain't right. They done got some bank dirt and you cast a spell. I could actually show you the spell, but I'm not going to because I don't want y'all to practice it. Actually, man, what happened to my money? Somebody's working on your money that you can't get no money. And she did a lot of that shit. They go to cemeteries. Why? Because you can do a host of things with cemetery dirt. You can actually do things in the cemetery using dirt. Like people can take your underwear and stuff and bury your underwear. You'll find yourself sexually attached to a person. You can't stand the person, but you love having sex with them. Usually that's because they got something of yours and buried in the cemetery dirt so they can lock your nature up. Nevertheless, this is part 3. All right. I can't get it all out. I wish I could. This is part 3 of the woman I married was married to somebody else and didn't tell me. And I hope this is educational and informative. If you guys keep telling me you want to learn more and more, then I'm going to tell you more and more about this. And, this is real. This shit happened to me. And if you're not careful, it could happen to you. So you need to share this link, share it around with everybody you know so your people can learn and, try and avoid this kind of thing because there are ways you can avoid this and not have to go through what it is that I actually went through. It's not necessary that you go through this, all right? God let me go through this stuff, and I understand why he did it. It'll teach me a lesson, and I learned a lesson well. And he delivered me safe and secure. And I thank him for that. But the experience I'm going to share with everybody I can because, you think you out there and you think you lonely. Loneliness, I can deal with. But this stuff that I went through, I can't deal with. And it's not worth you guys dealing with it. So to all my subs and to all my followers, as usual, one nation.
That's what we see Jay-Z has done. That's what we see Puff has done. The music don't become how you pay the bills. It's a a lot of pressure off of it. You got other things bringing in income, you can make music.
This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. Like what the fuck is going on? Who told you that song and did you know all along? And why did your bitch sell that painting 2 weeks after he was gone? I'm gonna tell you what it feels like. It feels a little fishy. Feels like something's going on ever since that John Legend song and college prediction of a Grammy. If you ask me, I can't stand him. Seems a little weird. Question number 1, why is there no blood? Question number 2, Sam left in the AM is true, but you're talking about the shits all up in the afternoon. Don't trip, we're gonna find out the truth soon. Who did what to who? Did they plan to eat the chili fries or was it just a surprise? Can you see the lies of witness in a cowboy's eyes? Are we gonna just sit here and forget? Are we gonna ride like Nip said? It's a little weird that the judge quit. Handing out immunities like candy makes me sick. I got a lot of unanswered questions like, why's the footage all grit and I can't see shit? Who the fuck is that white man in that white BMW? Probably was the FBI. Yeah, I noticed that white guy, and I noticed the car wasn't in the pictures when they showed them afterwards. They thought we would forget. They got that shit backwards. They weren't expecting me to drop this track and raise all these questions with my Mac words. I'm really mobbing through LA smoking backwoods. I've been doing this shit all my life. TMC, AMI. You might just see an empty parking lot when you ride by. Well, me, I see way more. I see an independently owned store. I see the community taking power back, whether you're white, Mexican, Asian, or black. As long as you're not blue. Good ones, there might be a few, but from my life experience, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not defending Eric, but what's the fucking delay? They requested a quick trial, it's been over 800 days. They try to distract us in so many clever, creative ways. Yeah, you got your Grammy, and now you're a billionaire. But what about the families that are still living there? Seems a little unfair, just a little something to compare. I never seen a fireman wearing a bulletproof vest. Yes, the shit to me seems a little suspect. The shit's a little weird. Crisis actors taking away our fathers, making our child some bastards, killing creative men and women for their masters. The waves that Nip wrote in, you didn't know where to begin. A bunch of new chapters. You didn't think about what would happen after. We would put the pieces together on your transparent bullshit. I can see right through it, like the clear blue sky in the LA sunny weather, where the palm trees swing side to side and we ride together on a white horse or a double R hearse in a foreign car. Either way, you gotta be on guard because they're on tap for anyone who's brown or black with tats. Everybody sees it, but nobody wants to attack. It's sad if you ask. We all gotta blast back. We're in the game, but we can't touch the ball. Seems a little unfair if you ask me, that's all. So take your ignorant ass to YouTube and type in Tanika Views to get the real news. We're doing the shit for justice, not views. Sharing knowledge and coming together, that's the real tool. He tried to lead us to the lake, so don't sleep on the knowledge that he gave to me and you. He wanted us to learn from his mistakes, so with our new knowledge, good decisions we could make. And also one thing I wanted to say myself, they killed Dr. Sebi because he was teaching health. Assassins, they come in all shapes and sizes, big booties, hips and thighs. Oh, you're Diddy's girl, right? Oh yeah, John Legend, some things happen at your video shoot. I got a couple questions for you. All those strings you pulled, you still can't make a rap hit. You punk ass little bitch, you probably got a little dick. All the shit that you have to did. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face.